What's good? What's good? Good morning. I'm grumpy. I am a grumpy Gus today. First thing this morning, I live in my van and it's cold, and I hate being cold. It's part of my autism, I think. It's not uncommon that, people on the spectrum, we just get these visceral reactions to the cold or to temperatures. And so, because it's cold, I stay in my sleeping bag as long as I possibly can until I have to get up to go to work. And I stayed in maybe a few minutes too long this morning, so I was rushing. And in my rushing, I was trying to make my coffee while driving to work. Not a good idea, because I had spilled my coffee cup. It had my heavy cream and it had the powder in there with the spoon while I was heating the water up, getting ready to mix it all. And I turned too fast and just the cup spilled, and now I've got heavy cream and coffee powder all on the ground. Thankfully, I have a bunch of carpets and stuff in here, so I can just pull the carpets up and wash them. Not the biggest of deals, but I'm just grumpy because I'm cold. I'm grumpy because I'm cold. I'm grumpy because I live in my van. I'm grumpy because I'm single. That's another thing. Just so freaking lonely. And I know my beard's a mess. I've been single for 5 years. So in the last 5 years, I just more or less stopped trying. I don't even look at women. I mean, I look at women just out of oh, I see another human, but I'll fuzz my eyes and reduce the resolution in which I can see, so I don't actually pay attention to them. Can you do that? I can't be the only one who I'm doing it right now, where I reduce the resolution so things aren't as clear. I also do that because being on the spectrum, from a very young age, I learned to mask and mirror really well. So people used to think, or maybe people would say that I'm a relatively charismatic person, but that's actually just because I know how to read the room, and I know how to sort of react and respond in a way that reduces any tension potentially. I grew up in a very stressful environment. Stress and needing to read the room and to reduce tension. So I learned how to mask and mirror. And when I look at people and I see the little details on their faces, I see their life story sometimes, and it's fuck, that's too much. I can't handle that right now. So I do that when I see people who may be hurting physically, mentally, spiritually. But I also do that when I see a beautiful woman. I'm oh, she's pretty. Don't look at her. Not because it's inappropriate, because as long as you're respectful and whatnot, it's okay to look. It is okay to look. People used to look at me. I used to be an attractive young man. And I'm not single for a lack of knowing how to interact with women. In my 20s, when I was quote unquote successful, mainly when I was just working for the military industrial complex and didn't like it, but I was making good money, did not struggle dating then. When you're a decent looking guy and you make decent money, well, dating is easy, but successfully dating, now that's difficult. And what's the difference? Well, getting a date, hooking up, whatever, that's not hard. Meeting a woman that challenges you and that you challenge, that together you build each other and you push each other and you elevate the relationship as a couple, that's successful dating. And I did struggle with that. So while I am grumpy that I'm really single and lonely right now, these last 5 years, I've really, really learned how I need to improve as a human before I'm able to bring my best to a relationship, because I wasn't bringing my best to the relationships in my 20s. I was a major douche, and I admit that. But I'm in my late 30s now. It's weird to say because I don't feel it. Physically, my body, it hurts. Partially because I don't get hugs, and so hugs are one of the best oxytocin release mechanisms that humans have. Just go give someone a hug, and I think 8 seconds is the number I've seen. Just hold the hug for 8 seconds and then bam, hormone or endorphin boost. I miss hugs. I do. This whole video started about me being grumpy about my coffee, and it's turned into being single. I wish, in my last video, I think I talked about how I wish I could just find like an affordable garage to rent. Doesn't have to be like insulated. I can run my little heater, whatever. But there's just 0 point in trying to date when I live in my van and I have no savings. It would be nice to meet a woman who saw my potential and wanted to help me sort of bring my best out, but I don't blame women. Don't blame women at all for not wanting to invest in a guy like me. It's sad, but it's true, and I accept it. And I've been okay mostly, but just today, for some reason, extra aggressive and lonely and grumpy. Okay, I'm back. I had to pause it. Another reason that I'm grumpy, and it's all kind of connected, is that I've been doing just heavy manual labor the last few days. Literally, just shoveling gravel from a big pile, moving it into a basement that we're going to pour concrete into. But just shoveling gravel all day. And I don't mind like the monotony and that so much. Like I can just put music on, I can put a podcast on, and I can just work. But like it physically is exhausting, and it's exacerbated by the fact that like I don't have a warm home to go to. I don't have a hug that I can go expect and anticipate when I get home to sort of lower the cortisol and increase the oxytocin. So my body is just in this really bad hormonal chemical situation because I'm not living in alignment with how humans are intended to live. And like, what does that mean? That means we're meant to be sort of communal sort of creatures. It's not wild for a family to sort of live together and to congregate within a few acres of each other. That would be my dream if I ever make it, is to have a few acres. And then if I ever have kids, I want them to have their own little spaces on the property, and I want us to be close. I want us to have our own space, but also close. I'm not close with my biological family or family of origin, unfortunately. They're, like I said earlier in the video, it was a chaotic upbringing, and my life it'd be more chaotic if I included them in it. Unfortunately, there's no support, there's no resources there available. And I accept responsibility. I want to say that. I accept responsibility for where I'm at. I made mistakes in my 20s. I acknowledge that. I accept responsibility. And I've learned tremendous lessons these last 5 years. I really have. I've paid off thousands of dollars of debt. I still have a few thousand left, but like it's just so much less stressful. Instead of it being like 15,000, it's 5,000, right? Way more manageable. So I've paid off debt, and I've just gotten a lot better at budgeting. I've gotten a lot better at sort of knowing what I want in life, knowing sort of what are necessities and what things, I can live without. Pretty much the necessities are kombucha and cannabis. Those are like the two biggest necessities in my life. And red meat. Oh my gosh, I love red meat. Even if it's just like beef jerky, I'm trying to eat like just more meat because I feel better. I feel so much better when I have a good meat diet in me. But that's hard to do when you live, in a van. I've been looking at air fryers and stuff, but like I would rather invest resources into getting out of the van opposed to like building a kitchen in here. I'm less grumpy now. Thank you for letting me vent. And also I just smoked a joint and sipped some coffee, taking a break from shoveling gravel. I'm almost done with the shoveling part, but now I gotta level it all and yeah. So thank you. I feel better. Much love to you. I hope if you're struggling, I hope you find a respite from your adversity soon.